Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Code Realize Future Blessings and Infinite's Route in Chapter 3, and sorta maybe at the halfway point, I'm thinking. I don't know. One way or the other. Almost to the halfway point, roughly, somewhat, approximate. Anyway. My body feels hot. That's right, we're running from Saint Germain. My sight wavers. My whole body alerts me of this pain. My transformation into the Philosopher's Stone seems to have slowed, but even so, I can't ignore the heaviness of my body. It feels as though the poison is seeping out even with my gloves on. If I desperately continue to run down the hallway of the great cathedral that shakes with each assault— oh, I desperately continue, not if. I need to learn how to read, just English so we can play these games. I don't know. I wonder how long I've been running. Right back where we started. I somehow make my way to the deepest part of the cathedral and raise my voice when I see the Finisses staring up at the sphere. Finis! Idea's apostles are at the great cathedral! I know. You don't have to get so worked up. Like I told you, our memories are shared. So he remembers all the times he's died, if you think about it. That's really fucking scary. Although, their powers are far beyond what we expected. I'm in the process of awakening my backups, but that doesn't change the fact that we're in a serious predicament. What are you going to do then? Isn't the enemy immortal? He can't exactly pick up this main body and run away. Ignoring my question, Finis's lips twist. I've already made my move. Alistair and Nemo are preparing a trump card as we speak. We'll need to buy them more time, though. So until then, the soldiers and I must hold them off. You're using yourselves as shields again? The scene from earlier comes back to me. The Finisses that were cut down one by one in order to protect me and hold off Saint Germain. I know, we're like siding with Finis and not Saint Germain. I did not have anything to drink, I swear. But we're not siding with Saint Germain. I'm confused because, I get it, but I don't at the same time. Even if they were a created existence, it should be an indisputable fact that every one of them had a life. That's not right. You're so stupid, sister. What then do you suppose we should do? I have countless replacements of myself, but there's only one of you who holds the horologium. It's only natural, then, for me to be your shield, right? But if I didn't know any better, he almost sounded like a little brother who genuinely cared about his big sister, when in fact, sacrificing yourself in order to protect your sister, huh? I don't know who that voice is. That sounds like an awfully human thing to say, although doing so won't save anyone. Who is it? It could be Lupin in one of them. It could be Saint Germain. I don't know. The sounds of footsteps resound along with a quiet voice. Probably Saint Germain. Oh no, right, it's Creepy Dude. A boy whom I've never seen before enters the room. Right, it's this dude. Who are you? I forgot about him for a second. Without seeming to so much as regard me, who stands there confused, he sways as he approaches. Then he jumps lightly. Oh, that's right, he's going to be slightly creepy, right? Closing the distance between us in an instant, he scoops my hair into his hand and brings it close to his nose. He's, pretty in a creepy way. I sense a pleasant aroma wafting from you. What? Aroma? Indeed. The sweet aroma of treats baked. The smell of tragedy that witches make. He rhymes a lot, doesn't he? Sister! Get away! He's an Idea's apostle! As the many Finis's gunshots ring out, the two of us are sent flying as if to repel off one another. Finis, who rushes to my side, glares at him bitterly. Yeah, but we were enjoying the cute boy staring at us creepily, calling us baked treats. So I smell like cookies, is what you're saying? A different apostle than the one earlier. Idea's serious about taking us down. Idea, Then you're the same as Saint Germain. Ah, Hansel. Hexenhaus? Hexenhaus. Hexenhaus? Hexenhaus? Like, Hansel? Where's Gretel? That's right. I'm an ideas apostle. Hansel Hexenhaus. Hansel Hexenhaus. Probably not how it's pronounced, but whatever. An ideas apostle. He calls Omnibus his mother, and the name of his sister is engraved on his gigantic fork-shaped weapon. Does it say Gretel on it? So, is she dead? It's a pleasure to meet you, Isaac's children. I sympathize with your circumstances, but Isaac Beckford's plan will make many children miserable. Look at the sexy way he's looking at that fork. That is just so fucking bizarre. Why? Oh, see, and that explains why he just called us treat. I should have known. That was so fortunate. Like, you smell like treats, like a witch's treats, and you're like, oh, and like a house made out of gingerbread is what you're. Weird. You got a weird fetish, boy. The fork too. Look at that face. Like, he looks evil and completely fucked up, but pretty all the same. I don't know. It's the fucked up kind of pretty. And that's why we will deliver you here and now. Let's go, Gretel. He caresses the fork, and an instant later, the boy who called himself Hansel darts at us. Gah! The fork dances through the air as if drifting, gouging Finis beneath his arms and causing him to fall to his knees. Finis! What, you? Dodging my kick that was meant to shake him off, Hansel leaps backwards. Finis, are you alright? Must I tell you every time? Even this blood is artificial. I'm just a living doll, an expertly crafted phony, a convenient replica that can be replaced. He pushes me away as he falls to his knees, and another Finis tugs my arm vigorously. Eventually, there's going to be just one, and we'll save that just one, and it'll be, Anyway, just run. I'll try to hold him off for even a second longer. Be quiet. If you insist on being my brother, then listen to your older sister occasionally. When you have no other choice but to fight someone stronger than you, always look for an opening to make your escape. Remembering Van Helsing's lesson, I take a stance and prepare myself. But yeah, he's looks completely Looney Tunes, but rather than pursue us, Hansel simply stands there and looks at us with sorrowful eyes. He's like the Draco Malfoy. Like, he's wearing a fucking Harry Potter robe. He's like, guys, I didn't even finish. I had to leave early. I didn't even get to go to my astrology class at Hogwarts. And just McGonagall's gonna be so pissed at me for not showing up for Transfiguration. And the fuck? He's such a Slytherin. Sorry. He's just wearing a big ass robe, and that's all I get. Anyway. Children manipulated by a foolish parent. You are truly pitiable. Foolish, you say? What do you know? I know. I really do. Isaac Beckford is a madman. He yearned for a family that no longer existed, and would lead this world to calamity. If you two weren't born from such a foolish father, you'd be walking a very different path. Truly pitiable. Shut your mouth! As Finis yells, the other Finises, who had assembled, fire their guns. Dodging the barrage of bullets, Hansel swings his huge fork. It's funny, because Finis and I'm like, no, don't kill Hansel! We could romance him maybe in the next part. I'm sure there's going to be something for him in the third game. There's going to be some path or something about him. I shall at least grant salvation unto those accursed lives. Shall we, Gretel? Okay, he's crazy like Finis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Effortlessly, as if to slice through cakes. Ha! Made by witches. One by one, the fork pierces through the Finis bodies that get in the way. The Finises that suffer, struggle, and soon stop moving with every brutal stab. Finis, stop! I can't! Shut up! This is fine. Besides, there's no way to kill an immortal apostle. I'm trying to buy us as much time as possible. And then, as if in response to Finis's words, I bite my lip. What? Is this? The great cathedral begins to shake along with the sound of a tremendous explosion. Unable to brace myself for the result, For the resulting violent quake, I fall to my knees. It's here! Stained glass shatters and the walls begin to crumble and the ceiling begins to fall. With every echoing explosion, the historic cathedral crumbles even further. What's happening? But curiously, within the collapsing cathedral, only this room survives the falling rubble. It's as if it was designed under the assumption that this would happen. Hello, Nautilus. Yes, sister. Behold, it's finally arrived. As the collapsing of the great cathedral finally dies down, Finis points up. The ceiling had completely fallen apart, and we're now able to see the blue of the sky above. Okay, that was not us. I was like, why are we doing crush music? Anyway. A voice like a distant thunder rolling through the sky suddenly resounds across all of London. Today is a fine day! Today is a fine day! A fine day with a forecast of battleship! We'll be arriving at the target point soon! We've come to get you, Professor Isaac! Is that Nemo? Why do we even need to ask? The only person who accentuates everything they say and drags out the syllables. It's fucking Nemo. The voice fell from high up above, and I looked to the distant sky in a daze, and I seemed to catch a dull glimmer. Now, undistinguished masses, bow before me as you forever remain earthbound. You shall now see my finest work, the wings of my heart, the fruit of the great power called science. The Nautilus! Along with a shout from the bottom of his lungs, a shadow falls on us. It's like a steel cloud that blocks out the sun. A colossal... His voice hurt me so bad, I was like, wow, I'm surprised I can still speak, and then I had to yawn. Oh god. A colossal slab of iron that one could mistake as an island completely obscures the sky. What is that? There! Behold, sister! That is the steel throne in which Father will sit! God's Ark! The battleship Nautilus! Battleship? You're saying that's a ship? That's impossible. Impey told me plenty about the construction and technology of airships. Even with a light material such as aerocarbonium, there would still be a limit to the hull weight. That colossal... It's hideous. Isaac Beckford. To think he'd create such an eyesore. As we feared, he's far too dangerous. There's only one thing we can do. And that's to dispose of you two, who are the keys to his plan. I can't quite get his voice, it's okay. I can see Hansel fiercely running towards us as I glance back, but... You're too late. Nemo, do it now. My brother. Leave it to me. All Finis's would be dead in the amount of time it takes him to speak. Coordinates set. Target acquired. Gravity alleviator. Activate! Along with Nemo's booming voice, my legs begin to float away from the ground. All the Finis's would be dead. We would all be dead in the time it took Nemo to speak one single simple sentence. We're all dead, Nemo, thanks. What? What? No, not just me. Even the Finis's around me have a gigantic armillary sphere. Sorry, doing Nemo's voice hurts. It makes me yawn. As if the heavens and earth had traded places. My lungs are like, bitch, you didn't take a breath. As we fall towards the Nautilus. Such a shame, idea. I bet even the likes of you can't fly. I mean, you never know. The ground gradually draws further away from this world where everything was upside down. Hansel, in his astonished expression, The discarded corpses of the countless Finuses left behind below. Couldn't he just jump into the path of the gravity alleviator? Why is it that the sphere, Finus, and us get sucked up and not everything else? It's interesting. Right, it's like a tractor beam. Why doesn't Hansel just jump in the tractor beam? The colossal battleship Nautilus had suddenly appeared above the skies of London. The city residents look up to the sky, dumbfounded by the majestic presence that transcends the common knowledge of science. During the battle to the death with Guinevere, Lupin and the others, too, were staring up at the iron castle in the sky. What is that thing? Is that an airship? It can't be. It's impossible for that kind of mass to float in the air. Looking on at the scene that could best be described as a giant lid closing on the sky, they stand there awestruck. All but one, that is. It's gotta be. Only Impey continued to glance at the Nautilus, his fist trembling and biting his lip. That thing is able to float in the air thanks to a particular device, I wager. That's what the geezer and I created. The dream we chased for so long to get us to the moon. The gravity alleviator. The geezer. It's not the geezer. Call him old man. Geezer's a mean name. Like, that sounds so mean, Impey. The Nautilus slowly begins to deploy its turrets as Impey looks on, as if to mock him. No. Stop! What? And now, look upon the harvest of my talent. Be sure to burn it into your eyes. Stop, Nemo. That's not what it was made for. All turrets, fire! Drowning in Impey's cries, the barrage of Nautilus gunfire roars through the skies. Whoa! Not good. Take cover. Lower Town, Midtown, and Upper Town, and Buckingham Palace alike, whether rich or poor, aristocratic or working class, the steel shells pulverized them equally. A state of panic and chaos fell over the heart of London. How many of them even noticed the pillar of light that connected the great cathedral and the Nautilus? That beam of the gravity alleviator that Nemo activated. Locating the target of their search in the midst of gravel and debris, Lupin mutters, overcome with surprise. Is that Spacey? There we are floating into space. Hi! The sky was now the ground, and the ground was now the sky. Within this world that had flipped over completely, Finis and I fall away into the sky. Again, we're not really falling, we're being pulled like a tractor beam. Finally, we're pulled inside the gigantic battleship. A heavy sound reverberates through my body as the ship's hatch closes. Finis, now on the floor of the Nautilus, lets out a deep sigh. So that was an idea's apostle. Damn it! It's just as the rumor said. Those blasted immortal monsters. However, we were able to secure a sister in the main body. Victory is ours! Victory? My chest tightens as I recall the sight that was burned into my eyes earlier. Those countless Finuses that fell to the floor, skewered by Hansel's fork. The many corpses that were left behind below. It reminded me of the 665 corpses of me. Something so sad, so bereft of happiness. It's nothing close to victory. Not when all those Finuses died. Correction, sister. They broke. It's not like we're alive. No. I force out my words little by little as I gaze at the shrugging Finus. It's true that our births were unnatural. Perhaps we were given form, seeded in culture fluid, given our memories. But we still have feelings. We laugh, we hurt, we suffer, we love others. We love our family. How is that different from humans? And we're alive just the same. Hello, animals also care for their young and their families, and they're not humans. Are you saying that, they don't, whatever, they mean nothing? Hello, Finis Jesus. Sorry, I have to take a drink. Sorry. I have to. Nemo's voice breaks me, and I need water. Humans? We, who are loved by no one, are the same as humans. Finis's face twists in disgust. It's like he's a raging beast whose wound was touched. Uh-oh. That's impossible. We're finally receiving love for the first time after accomplishing Father's plan. Ah! Finis grabs me by the collar as if to strangle me. Anger, sorrow, hatred. He makes an immensely pained expression filled with all of those emotions. We're not human. We are monsters. Father is the only one in the entire world who could love the likes of us. Why? Why do you think Father is the only one who can love you? Also, Father doesn't love you, so yeah. Oh, we're hugging him. And he bandaged his hand. So that's the original Finis. Because otherwise, or was Finis always wearing a glove that looked like a bandage? I think he bandaged his hand. So that's the original Finis that touched us and burnt his hand. That's the Finis. So there is a Finis, not just a bunch of Finises where that's a random one. That seems like it's the original one, because otherwise, not all of them burned. Otherwise, you stab one and you'd stab them all, right? What? Please, listen, Finis. There's no telling whether or not the love from Father is real. Right now, there's no way to know. But putting all that aside, there are people who can love you. Not that I can say for sure what love is like myself. But even so, at the very least, I as a big sister to my little brother, would like to love you. That's what I feel from the bottom of my heart. I gently hug Finis. It's so sad. My little brother, who only sees himself as an object. My poisonous body bereft of love, unable to feel another's warmth even in this situation. But even so, I wish for my emotions to be passed to him. I hold him tightly so that I won't be pushed away like before. Look, he's smiling. It's no use, sister. No matter how much you dress it up, we're just dolls. What you're doing is meaningless. Be quiet. But he looks happy. It's like he's like, huh? 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 We're a created existence. It's true that others might call us dolls. There's no way around that. But please, stop treating yourself like a doll. Look, he looks like he's gonna cry. Then, what do you suppose I should do? Oh, whoops. I have nothing. I skipped by accident. I desire Father's love, because I have nothing. It's as though it's trying to silence me. The horologium suddenly begins to shine, and the pulsing resounds throughout our surroundings, stronger than ever before. I fall and begin to convulse, unable to so much as stand. Sister? His voice shakes and his expression twists in distress. But Finis bites his lip, shakes his head, and forces out a dry laugh. You must be upset at us, Father, for saying such silly things. Just give up, sister. You'll only suffer more if you resist. No! There's no need to suffer any further. Just give in and let Father... No! I want to... I want to love you, my little brother. What? What is this, sister? Having such unnecessary emotions toward a cog in the machine. I keep telling you, I'm just a doll, just like you. An emotion like loving another. Isn't it enough to just be loved by Father? I'm content simply to live for Father, to die for Father. To even consider thinking about others is... It's simply ridiculous. Finis, Father doesn't love you. At that moment, a vibration runs through us along with a deafening rumble. What? A hole had suddenly opened in the floor, not far from where we are. There stands a single figure. His clothes flutter as the wind blew wildly. I just like that he's like the ex machina here, like, I finally caught up. Hansel stood there quietly. Sticking the fork that is roughly his height into the floor, he stares at us with a calm gaze. Hansel? How? We just... It was nothing, really. I simply leapt across the debris that floated up and clung to the hull. Then, it was just a matter of following your scent. He is so creepy, but I love him a little bit. Damn it! You freak! I'll send you plummeting back down! Finis raises his arm and the main body pulsates, steel wires beginning to crawl out from inside. The terrifying steel tendrils raise their necks and immediately rush toward Hansel's neck. Die, idea's apostle! You'll not come one step closer to father! I see. I was wondering why you went out of your way to retrieve such a bulky thing. So that's Isaac's main body, huh? Then he makes an arching slash at the steel wires and kicks off, beginning his run. He darts past the astonished Finis and goes straight towards the armillary sphere. Oh no! He's far faster than Finis, who looks on with a stiff face, and myself, who remains collapsed on the floor. This is the end. Hansel swings his fork up, and then... A violent noise echoes from the sphere. What? Numerous steel wires coil around Finis, who suddenly stops moving and tug him in. What? Directly in front of the fork that Hansel just threw. Finis! What is... Seriously, what is? Hansel, whose eyes were wide from the unexpected situation, is bound by the rest of the tentacles. What in the world just happened? Unable to comprehend for a moment, I blinked my eyes as I remained collapsed. What happened? Was that... Did Father use Finis? I see. Father used me as a shield for the sphere. Then, Finis was thrown to the floor as if he was no longer of any use. Now you should realize what a cunt your father is all I'm saying. Finis! Even from my perspective, a fair distance away, the dire scene is distinctly evident. Blood constantly flows from his abdomen that was pierced by the fork. I have to stop the bleeding immediately. Silencing the horologium that throbs painfully by clutching at it as if to crush it in my hand, I feebly stand. Wait there, Finis! I'll stop the bleeding! With an injury that serious, it wouldn't be surprising if he died this instant. Finis speaks his words weakly. It's fine, sister. As long as Father is fine. And so am I. This is the correct way to use me. You're still going on about that? I'd slap him. Be like, you're an idiot. I desperately move over to him and pull his body to mine. The fresh blood that continuously flows is so vivid and warm. It's as if his very life is pouring out. Ah, how strange it is. My hands, they won't stop shaking. Why is that, I wonder? Sister. Upon those words, Finis's movements suddenly stop unnaturally. Finis! Come on, Finis! This can't... There's no response to my desperate calls. Again in front of my very eyes. My little brother dies again. But he can't... I thought he would be like the last Finis, but he can't be because I don't think Isaac would use him like that. You know what I mean? Because then how are you coming back to life? You don't have a body. I close my eyes, overwhelmed with despair. But... Just wait right here, my dear daughter. I must first take care of our intruder. Words come from Finis that aren't from Finis. It was his conflicting existence that pulled me back from the impending darkness. Father, it's you. As if the injury that he was dealt didn't exist at all. Finis calmly got up, even as blood trickled down. Ah, I see. So that's your mind. You finally show yourself, Isaac Beckford, the mad, arrogant scientist who sacrificed his own children and desires to himself become God. We of Ideal will not allow this. The moment this restraint loosens will be your last. It's true that my current self is unable to fully kill an immortal apostle. Even that restraint is imperfect, in place only to buy us a bit of time. But unfortunately for you, there are many ways to deal with you. That sounds ominous and tortury. Father, who now controls Phineas's body, grabs Hansel and begins to walk. You don't mean to. Towards the gaping hole on the floor. That'll suck. Perfect. A wounded doll with a newly sprouted individualism. There's no longer any use for this vessel. A bad feeling crawls over me. I stumble over, practically dragging myself along, falling and standing back up several times. Father, wait! What are you thinking? You're planning to take me down with you? Stop! Stop this, Father! It's obvious what would happen as a result of falling from this height. On top of that, Phineas is already gravely injured from intercepting Hansel's attack. It's amazing that he can still move at all. Or maybe Father is simply forcing his movement, and he's already... The horrible thought causes me to let out a heart-rending shout that surprises even myself. Please, please, listen, Father! As I try to draw closer, the pain from the horologium's modification process makes my feet feel like lead. Stop calling him Father. Just start calling him Isaac. He doesn't deserve to be called Father, sorry. The short distance between us feels like a mile. I reach out to my little brother, who just continues to smile faintly. But still, my hand doesn't reach him. Why are you sad? Why do you try to stop me? Any child would cast aside a broken doll. Or has a doll begun to feel compassion in its own way? No! Neither of us are dolls! So please, Father, you can't! Fine. If you, whom I hold dear, say that you hold a sense of guilt, then... The Phineas before me lets out a sigh. And then, with a joyous, heartfelt expression, he slowly begins speaking to me. Stay back, sister. It was an incredibly strained voice, as if meant to satisfy his own emotions. Being helpful to Father makes me happier than anything else in the world. So, there's no need to feel any sense of guilt. No need for you to feel sad. All you have to do is be quiet and watch. Watch as I fulfill my duty. Oh, look at that adorable face. It's funny because they always talk about his jade eyes, but yet when they do the CGs, they're always like so blue. Like the one on the right is slightly green, but they're mostly always blue. It's weird. Phineas sways. His body begins to tilt. No, stop! Stop, Phineas! Don't kill my little brother! I lunge forward with the last ounce of my strength I have, but... Farewell, sister. My dear, dear... My fingertips don't even graze him. Sister. Phineas! Phineas! Faster than my hand, faster than my voice. Pulling Hansel down with him, Phineas began his descent. I just feel like there's gonna be another Phineas. I'm just really sad about Hansel. I'm like, oh, but I mean, he didn't really get much. I feel bad for him. I feel like there'll be another Phineas. I mean, like, I just can't be like, oh, Phineas is dead. Nah, there's gonna be another Phineas. There can't be. Like, hello? This is the good ending. This is not how it ends, so. Only my cry followed his vanishing figure. I know, I should learn how to scream better, but I couldn't grab him. I couldn't save him. Even if it wasn't with his words, there's no doubt in my mind. He was crying out for help. A fragment of his true feelings that he'd been hiding away this entire time. And it was directed at me. I told him that I would love him. Sister, why are you crying? I told you. What? Phineas? The one and only. Who else do you think I could be? All right, I should get this cleaned up. Maybe I can get Nemo to fix the floor. This Phineas laughed. Same smile, same voice. The same Phineas that just plummeted below. No, that Phineas was actually the one that you burned. If I didn't know any better, it might feel like I'm seeing an illusion of the one who just fell to his doom. However, no. The Phineas before me isn't the same as the one from only moments ago. Even if I look away and convince myself that he's standing right there, it doesn't change the fact that the Phineas who fell is gone forever. but he has the same memories. What got you so down anyway? If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. It doesn't matter if one of me dies. We are, after all, me. We are, after all. I think it's supposed to be we are, after all me. Because we're all me. That's not true. You, the fittest who fell, each of you are different. We're the same. I told you we share our memories. For example, let's see. The tea party with Alistair and Nemo. Did you enjoy yourself? You should live an honest life like yours truly. Honest to yourself and no one else, maybe. So you see, sister, I'm me. His smile made my entire body shudder. A Finnis who wasn't there, recalling precise details of the events in the exact same voice. How do you know it wasn't this Finnis? How do you know that one's dead? I mean, yes, but it's like science itself had cast a spell on him, an affront to life. But in contrast to my fear, I have another thought. Perhaps Father felt the same as how I'm feeling right now. He has the same face, the same appearance as his own son, but regardless, he's a doll that will never become the original person. Recreating him endlessly, yearning for the real one. These Finnises that can never become Finnis. Why, then, was he ever given a heart in the first place? They who were raised as Finnis, who can only ever live as Finnis, that was nothing less than a tragedy beyond words. Steel London, the capital of the United Kingdom that prides itself in its impenetrable defense, created by the genius scientist Isaac. How ironic that it was Isaac's apprentice who broke through that defense, or perhaps it was inevitable. At Tower Bridge, London's largest bridge, squinting up at the colossal battleship that began to move through the sky, Omnibus listened to the report.
And what of Queen Victoria?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I forgot. So Hansel is technically wearing Idea's apostle cloak and chains, but yet Saint Germain doesn't, and neither does Guinevere. Alive and well, just as you instructed, we covertly assigned an apostle to her guard. Thanks to the apostles stationed across the other cities, we were able to contain the damage to some degree. Although Guinevere, Saint Germain, and Hansel seem to have failed at ridding the chief transgressor.
A shame, but if those three met such difficulty, the rest would have been the same had we sent a different party. We have lost this battle, but we can't just abandon the war. We shall speak with Queen Victoria and then decide our course of action.
Ma'am. Omnibus gives a slight nod and stares at the Nautilus once more.
It seems that one has fallen to the surface, though it is unusual that it was only one.
I'm home, Mother.
Welcome back, Hansel. I take it you couldn't get rid of the twins?
Yeah, my apologies. Perhaps the one who had fallen from that extreme altitude hadn't yet fully regenerated. Hansel grimaces as he sits down. He blankly looks up at the sky toward the Nautilus.
It would appear you have something on your mind.
Spacey and Finnis, was it? They truly were pitiful children. The poor twins who were played by fate. They remind me of...
Of you and Gretel?
Perhaps this mission was too
Perhaps this mission was too arduous for you. It's not too late. We can substitute another apostle.
No. Allow us to go again. Inform Saint Germain and Guinevere as well. I will handle those children. Even if they are imitations or fakes, they're siblings. So I believe it must be me who does it.
Yes, I understand. I will respect your will.
Hansel lets out a shallow sigh and gently caresses the fork on his side. Those poor children. But I can't turn a blind eye. Lest more sad children, like Gretel and I, be born. Oh, is this his past? I was like, I really need to know more about fucking Hansel. Okay, we need to know more about him. what the actual fuck. Like, we know, like, what happened with us and Finnet. Like, we kind of know that, but a distant past long, long ago. An old fairy tale about my days as a young boy before I became. Okay, this is Hansel's story. Okay. A distant past long, long ago. An old fairy tale about my days as a young boy before I became an ideas apostle. I can't even remember the name of the country in which I lived, but it was a year of unprecedented famine. The rain stopped falling and the plants had withered, and what few crops survived were eaten away by pestilence and disease. Due to the ongoing war, all that was delivered to the people was little more than a handful of wheat. Naturally, my village was no different. There was my father, a woodcutter, my mother, the village's best confectionery chef, and the siblings, Gretel and me. I'd lost track of how many days had passed, sharing soup and a piece of bread with my 3 other family members. And then one day, our mother was baking cookies, something she hadn't done in a while. With the last remaining wheat, she smiled at us. Hansel, Gretel, why don't we take some treats on a picnic? A picnic? That's right, to the forest beyond the hills on the outskirts of town, where we're going to leave you. But all the grown-ups say not to go there because an evil witch lives in that forest. It'll be fine, I'll be with you. And who can say whether or not it's true? Oh, ahem. And who can say whether or not it's true? But I heard that the witch's house is made of treats. A house made of treats? Oh, wait, I'm assuming the mother is telling them about the treats. Okay, so I should have read that backwards. With pillars made of cakes and windows made of sugar, chocolate tables and marshmallow sofas. They say that if you can find it, you get to eat as much of it as you want. Me, I want to go. Treat house. So he's more of a kid, so. I call the chocolate. Brother, you can have the biscuits. Hey, that's not fair. Don't you worry. Oh, don't you worry. I doubt she'll be able to eat it all by herself. Then I'll bring back some home for Dad, and he can have some too. We put the cookies that Mother made us into our pockets, and the 3 of us headed deep, deep into the forest. Gretel and I chased after our mother, walking through the gloomy woods that the villagers called the Forest of Fog. Ideas Forest. Forest of Fog. A mysterious forest where the secret society known as Ideas based. Forests of the same name exist all around the world, all of them connecting by magic to the same location, to the witch's house. You mean Omnibus's house? Gretel Hexenhaus. Hansel's younger sister. Though poor, she lived happily with her lumberjack father, her confectioner mother, and Hansel. I wonder how long we'd been walking. When the sun was starting to set, Mother, who had gotten a bit tired, suggested we stop for a while. All right, why don't we take a break here and have some snacks? I'll go fetch some firewood, so you two be good and wait right here. What? Hurry back, Mother! I want to find the treathouse! Of course, I'll be back before you know it. Hansel, you're the big brother, so take good care of Gretel. Even now, I still remember my mother's pained look. In hindsight, I probably had a pretty good idea of what happened by then. Brother, Mother is taking a while. She is. She left them there. This is the father that left them there in the story, I thought. Brother. Gretel's anxiety-seeped voice squeezed at my chest. Her mother had returned even some hours later. The sun had already set. Still, I tried to make a cheerful smile and laugh for Gretel. Maybe Mother already found the treathouse and is taking it all for herself. What? That's cheating! Otherwise, maybe she got lost. Why don't we try looking for her? Oh, look at the killer! I want these. I want these little dolls. I want the little chibi dolls. I want them of all the characters. I want this version of them so bad. They're fucking adorable. We huddled together and began walking through the forest night. There wasn't a single sign to guide us through the dense woods. Our hands held the only warmth we could muster. Brother, I'm starting to get hungry. Then let's eat those cookies that Mother made for us. Just a little at a time, though. We wouldn't want to spoil our appetites before we get to the treathouse. Right? I continued smiling. I continued talking to Gretel. I have to protect her, I thought. That small hand that grasped mine tightly with anxiety. My dear little sister. But reality is cruel. Even as a young child, she probably had an inkling in her own way. Gradually, Gretel spoke less and less, and the way she walked became slower and weaker. Soon she became shaky and unsteady, beginning to topple over repeatedly. She probably held back her tears so that I wouldn't worry. Pulling Gretel's hand as she would no longer walk on her own, I clenched my teeth as I pressed on. How far had we walked by then, I wonder? My little sister, who had been silently staring downward, finally spoke again. Brother, this is the last cookie that Mother made for us. Why don't you have my share? Oh, why don't you have my share too? Those are my little sister's last words. Carrying my little sister's body that becomes colder and colder, I continued on as I cried. I was distressed about myself who couldn't protect his own little sister. I was hateful for a mother who abandoned us. But above all else, I was sad towards this world in which people were forced to abandon their own children to survive. My steps grew weaker as Gretel's warmth disappeared. Why couldn't you just, sold your kids? I mean, I'm just saying, you could probably sell them. I mean, it's not that you don't have money, it's you don't have food. So, it's not that we don't have money for food, there's just literally no food, so. I mean, hey, at least your mom abandoned you in the woods. She could have, chopped you up and baked you into pies. I'm just saying. Could have been worse, I guess. Not much, but there's no point, no matter how far I walked. There was nowhere to go, nowhere to return to. The last lie that Mother told us, even if I were to find the house, what point would it make without Gretel? Suddenly, right as my pace came to a complete halt. Omnibus's house, my field of view suddenly becomes wider, and a gentle light graced us even though it was night. A house made of trees?
You poor thing. A parent killing a child killing a parent, an older brother killing the younger brother. No matter the reason, the sadness of killing one's own family doesn't change, no matter the era.
Are you the witch of the forest?
Witch, yes, that's right. Witch fits me quite nicely. My name is Omnibus, a witch and a denizen of this forest of fog. Be it by fortune or otherwise, Idea has chosen you. We who hold the quality of accepting the curse of immortality.
I can't say that my young self understood the true meaning of those words. What I did understand was what she said next.
If you agree to bear this burden of eternally guiding humanity along the proper path of history, then I will grant you one wish.
A wish?
Yes, be it a luxurious mansion or a mountain of candy. If it is in my power, I will grant it.
I muttered in a daze. If I can have one wish, I want to see Mother and Gretel. I want to live forever and ever together with Mother and Gretel.
I see. So that is your wish. But even I can't restore a life that has been lost. But at the very least, I can grant half of your wish.
Omnibus laid her hands gently on Gretel, and Gretel's body turned into light and began to disappear. And then what appeared in her place was a gigantic fork. On its handle was my dear sister's ribbon, wavering lonely in the wind.
The accursed arms that I will give to you has your sister's soul bound to it.
Accursed arms, the general name for the equipment that Omnibus gives Idea's apostles. They are bestowed with magical power and improve the user's physical capabilities. Like, what's-her-face has her suit, Guinevere has her suit, he has the magic fork, and Saint Germain has a dagger? I mean, his is a little bit easier to hide to pretend you're normal. It's really hard to be, Gretel and, or Hansel carrying out. What the fuck's with a giant fork? Nothing. I always bring my own fork. Yeah, but it's huge.
And in your mother's stead, I will become your mother.
Mother?
Yes, come, Hansel. Why don't we have a meal together with Gretel?
Hansel? Hexenhaus. Past. a young boy who was left behind in the woods along with his little sister when famine struck his country. Too fewer mouths to feed. Omnibus then took them in, and he became an apostle. She didn't really take them in, because Gretel's dead, but whatever. And so, the witch of the forest became our mother, and the mother who abandoned us became a witch. Since then, I've been formally taken in by Idea, and I begin living as an apostle when it corrects the trajectory of the world. This immortal body I've been granted has power beyond human limits. With these, I devour those who would bring calamity to the world and prevent cataclysmic wars before they're even sparked. So long as it means preventing even one less child from being sad like we were. But you know, this mission really is ironic if you think about it. In order to save many sad children, we must bring misery to the twins who yearn for their father's love. Aww, no you don't. Save us, Hansel. At last this day has come. The day when I'm able to exchange words with you once more. I can hear a voice. Gentle, warm. A voice I should have been hearing for the first time, but somehow nostalgic. Now, please awaken, my dear, dear, beloved child. Finis. Oh, we were Finis. An expression filled with joy flooded in through my half-opened eyes. I stared absent-mindedly at that face, wavering in the culture fluid that surrounded me. I finally reunited with you. I've been wanting to see you for so long, Finis. How many years have passed since that tragedy? I never thought I'd be able to see you again. Now look at me, and let me hear your voice. Who are you? Maybe he had heard the words through the fluid, or maybe he had read my lips through the glass. The man before me opened his eyes wide in shock as he staggered back and forced out his words from deep within his throat. Finis, don't you know who I am? Look closely. It's me, Isaac, your father. Father? Yes, you remember, right? Me, your mother, you, your big sister, and the mansion in Wales we all lived in. Our lives weren't easy, but they were days filled with laughter and happiness. So I wanted to return to those days. The happiness that was torn from me. A family that I love. And yet, this. Analyzing his words, I slowly began to make sense of the information. There was indeed information stored in my brain that corroborated what he said. Scientist famed as the unrivaled genius Isaac Beckford. My Finis's father. And the response this man sought must be, Father. Yes, that's right. I am your father. The answer that should have been the most optimal did not make Father smile. He only forced his face into the shape that resembled a smile. Afterwards, once I awakened, I assisted in the creation of a new Finis alongside Father. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get Father to smile in the slightest. Each time we awakened a new Finis, Father would desperately try to force a smile, and it would immediately turn into a face of disappointment. When a Finis awakened, they would all say, Who are you? The same exchange repeats tens, hundreds of times. The gaze that he makes, as if looking at the stranger. The words that he speaks as if addressing a stranger. And eventually we stopped getting called by our name, Finis. Soon after, a few hundred of me were awakened, muttering the same words. Father cried out in anguish. You damn doll! We Finises started being disregarded by Father. Of course, we couldn't expect something like a smile, but there's one thing that made Father smile. Standing before Sister, who was being created in parallel with us. She alone, in the tank where only hideous, deformed corpses floated, the products of countless failures. Sister, whose completed form was beautiful. Blue gems shone on her chest, blessed by God. Sister who was created from the real sister cells, unlike me who only took the appearance of Finis. Why didn't he do that? Did he not have any of Finis's cells? Father smiled every time he saw her. A smile for her that was once meant for me. Spacey, my dear daughter. Am I, then, not dear to you? I'm also your child. Why does only sister receive your love? Spacey, it all begins with you. Call me by my name. Tell me that I'm dear to you. Smile at me at least once more. I will go into a brief hibernation until such time as the horologium develops and preparations for the new world are ready. Father, I love you, my daughter. What must I do so that you love me like you love sister? What do I do? Please, someone, someone, love me. That just makes me so sad for poor Finis. Poor Finis bot. He just wants to be loved like a real human. Sharp pain yanks me back into reality, forcing me to let out a cry of pain. I had a dream. Such a sad dream. A dream about a sad father and a boy who was loved by no one. The dream was Finis and father? Oh, awake are you? Can we just kill him already? Can we just... Impay, Victor. It's your turn, kill him. Nemo? And Finis, you too? What happened to me? A gigantic armillary sphere, enshrined in a vast room, comes into view as I look around. I also notice an odd device attached to the horologium on my chest. The many cables that extend from it are connected to the sphere. What is this? We're drawing a bit of energy from the horologium in order to support and maintain the Nautilus and Father's main body. It's an urgent countermeasure. The unexpected battle with Idea exhausted much of the ship's energy. I can hardly believe that one person can provide enough power for this gargantuan battleship. It's truly, positively amazing. This power is like that of a monster. I'm not a monster! I glare at Nemo, who hollers in delight as the cables are removed. Fatigue constricts around my entire body. As though my strength was literally sapped from me, I feel feeble from my head to my fingertips. But surprisingly, the pain that pulsated from the horologium has subsided. Although we had no choice to maintain the Nautilus's flight, due to our borrowing your energy, your alteration process will slow down. Just a bit longer, and you could have been one with Father. But I suppose we'll have to postpone it again. A pity, sister. A pity? How can you still say that after what Father did when we were confronting Hansel? A sense of powerlessness still lingered in my hand. If only this hand had been able to reach him. If only I could have saved him. How many times must I tell you that we're simply dolls for Father? If all it took was one doll to take an apostle down with it was a very small price to pay. The faint smile plastered on his face is like a dark cloud over my heart. The Finis who was sacrificed bore a hint of uncertainty. It was a very subtle, yet important detail. Yeah, well, that Finis was better than this Finis. This Finis sucks. He would be like, that's not fair. Yeah. What good does it do to glare at me like that? And if you wanted to call for help, look at this. Oh no. Nemo smiles playfully as he messes around with the transmitter I had hidden away. This means the communication with Lupin and the others is now cut off. They already know. Finis laughs cheerfully before me as I grind my teeth. So then, now we sit back and wait for Father to wake, and for the awakening of the horologium. We're outside of even ideas' reach. It's only a matter of swatting down the crown's sporadic gnats. I hold my chest tightly as I watch Finis laughing towards the giant sphere. I'm sure that I was able to get closer to Finis's heart back there. But to this current Finis, my words are so distant. Finis, past. being created by Isaac using organic parts to replace his deceased son. Due to the differences between the original Finis, however, Isaac begins to neglect him. What then should I do? Wow, still not a chapter 4. I'm quite amazed. Anyway, but this is a perfect place to wrap it up. So I'm gonna wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.